this is one of those weird subjects that's really creepy and I really don't like. Because it's the one thing I'm truly terrified of, I think.
And I'm not even sure if I want to have an afterlife. I kind of like the idea of like not having anything, just completely blackness, and I don't remember anything, and this is just the only chance I get.
Generally, I think nothing comes after our death.
But then the other part of me kind of wishes there would be something. Like, maybe not anything similar to this life, or maybe something totally different. But to be fair, that kind of scares me, and I haven't really thought about it that much because it's kind of like not the subject that I want to think about.
I would love to believe to the things I believed in before. That we have a soul and there is karma and we get to move on, and...
At least I don't believe there is an afterlife of any kind, I think. But no, I don't. I think it's just it's nothingness. You know, there was nothingness before each of us was born, and there will be nothingness after, essentially. And it's a continual cycle of, you know, every living being on this planet and any other planet, I guess, that may have life of any kind. You know, it's the only guaranteed thing that we as a human species have, and that is, we will die.
So I believe afterlife is about rotting your body. But I do believe in energy. So I do not believe in energy in a way of divine power or some sort of mystical way of that power, that higher power touching us and giving us something after this life. I believe life is this one, and the next one, it's not living, but it's some sort of different form of energy.
I was raised in a Catholic family. I was raised in Catholic schools, inside of church, in all this kind of environment. I have like a deep respect for all of these concepts. I'm not a religious person nowadays, in the sense that like I simply don't go to church, but I like the concept, I like the idea, and I still like keep them in my life and in my ways of observing life.
But when I think about a spiritual way, I think when you, for example, have kids on your own, you kind of live in them because, they have your genes, and I think you also kind of live on in, for example, the memories of your friends and relatives.
So I kind of like the idea of an afterlife, or the general idea of having something beyond our own existence. But at the same time, like, my rational side cannot accept that.
Recently, I have been thinking that maybe just nothing happens. So what would happen? And all the religious stuff and thinking about living great so that we have a better afterlife and going to heaven or hell and stuff like that.
But, you know, if you are in the camp that goes upwards, then potentially, you know, yes, you may experience a better life than you're already living. You may get to see people and loved ones that you've missed for years, or get to see other people in the future. But I don't know, would you want to die and live in some kind of perpetual, endless infinity somewhere else in the sky? And, you know, when you go to heaven, do you go at the age that you died? Do you live out? Do you continue as a 80, 90-year-old person? Do you, I don't know, go back to an age that you want to be? It's, you know...
Like, there could be... I do not believe in soul, but some sort of energy could come out of us. I believe there's some sort of conscious properties in energy.
And I don't like the idea of trying to visualize some further future or an achievement that will be accomplished like after a lot of effort, because this idea just keeps us away from the reality, from the present. And it's a lot easier to just think about the afterlife or think that I will be receiving some rewards after 80 years of good behavior than to actually try to be a good person every day, every second. So my thoughts about afterlife, they are quite blurry just because I don't want to think about that.
That we have a soul and we will carry on by the matter how we live our lives. So if we are good to other people, if we're good to other things that has soul, we will get to move on and be happy in our next life. But if we're not, we're gonna have a bad next life, and there's karma and there's consequences to your actions and stuff like that. But I just see no point in that either, because like that's also part of the rules. Like, who does the rules? I don't think anything happens really, and that's kind of sad.
Yeah, and this is why some people believe in God, because to them that gives them hope and comfort that after they die they will see people that they miss already, that have already passed away, or they may go to somewhere better than the life they're experiencing at the moment perhaps. So it very much depends on the person. For me as an atheist, I don't think there's anything else out there. There's no big magical being in the sky that will look after us after we die in any kind of way. Or, further down if you're not necessarily a good person. So no, it depends on who you are, what your beliefs are, I think. And for me, yeah, as I say, as an atheist, it's just there is nothing else. I don't believe. It would be great if there was, but I don't think there is. I don't think there is some mystical thing inside of us that will transition off into some other place after we die. In terms of a soul, I think nowadays that represents more of what a person's personality is, the way they behave, and that kind of thing. But in terms of some other ethereal kind of thing inside of us, no.
Before I thought that ghosts are for sure people that they just couldn't move on. They had this kind of like crazy connection to the place, or they just couldn't cross the barrier, that they did something horrible or died horribly, that they just couldn't move on. But I don't know now. It's just so, because I'm not sure that do I really think that nothing happens? But I'm not sure either that are the things ghosts or what is going on when we have these experiences. When you hear someone being there that isn't. And before I was sure that it was ghosts. And still I am sure that there are a few places that I'm 100% sure that we're haunted. But how? Were they former people? Or were there like glitches in the Matrix? Or were there anything at all? I was just being crazy of me.
I want to say yes. There is something maybe. I mean, I feel like you have to believe in a soul and something like that to believe in an afterlife. And I kind of believe in soul, but I'm just gonna leave it here. I'm not sure.
Because it would be nice to live by with the thought that something happens. So I just think that we live and then we die. And then it's just like lights off and door closes, and that's that.
And it's unfortunate and it's horrible to think about and creeps me out thinking about it now. But I think once you're gone, you're gone, unfortunately.
The reality is that there are things in my life that are more urgent and that I should try to fix now. So every time I rather have like a selfish perspective on that, then you just imagine something that is out of my control. I'm not sure if this is actually ending your question, but what happens in the afterlife? My emotional side can say that I will be in a better place and my memory will be here, living through the generations. But my rational side, it's probably saying that my body is a big part of the earth, and that's all.
What do you believe in?